Hear me out, it turns out I did miss one more Lancer ring. That is the gold Lancer ring, and honestly, I love the story surrounding it. This is going to be an abbreviated version, just giving y'all a warning now. The gold Lancer ring is run by Happiness and Joy. The wielder of this ring is Kalalor. He is a blind teacher in the 31st century, but now I think about it, why do they stop blind people in the 31st century? He does save a couple kids from a disaster, which in turn is the reason why he was picked to be the gold Lancer. He is also picked by the successor of the Guardians of the Green Lancer ring. Anyway, he does have a really good journey, accepting himself as a gold Lancer ring, accepting himself as a hero, and accepting his new self in general. But he doesn't want to follow the example of the Green Lancer rings, following the Guardians on their every command and everything they want to be done for them. Let me know if I missed any other Lancer ring, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Hear me out. And I saw a little thing going on a long time ago of Wolverine versus the Viltrumites, and I thought if we spice it up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Viltrumites versus the X-Men. I already knew I was gonna go though. The X-Men clear with no issues. For y'all saying Wolverine can't handle Viltrumites, why y'all put one man against a whole army? Put the whole X-Men against them. It still won't matter. By the way, Jean Grey could probably clear all them by herself with the Phoenix. But let's just take her out. Did we forget Cyclops beams was strong enough to hurt Dormammu himself? Did we forget that Charles Xavier is a telepath that can literally turn you into a vegetable? Because we really must have forgot that Storm is an Omega level mutant who could control all types of weather. This is an obvious clear with 10 out of 10 times going to the X-Men. They literally don't have no competition except maybe Thrag. He's still getting bodied by all the telepaths. Like, you can even add in people who come occasionally, like Emma Frost. Iceman is another Omega mutant who literally froze hell itself. At this point, it's an Omega clear, but what do y'all think? Hear me out, let's talk about Kai the Red Ninja. Kai the Red Ninja got hold so bad in Ninjago. When I first watched the series, I thought Kai was the main character. The story seems somewhat centered around him. It started out with the death of him and Nia's parents. It was sort of showing his character development, showing that he could be a ninja, and showing how hard he was fighting to be the Green Ninja. And then when it comes to that point, he gets pushed aside for Lloyd. Lloyd becomes a Green Ninja with barely any character development. And it's somebody just want to do some Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker type of mess. After this, Kai is supposed to be pushed aside for the rest of every season. He doesn't even get his own season like almost everyone else. Kai's only season was with Mia. Even with this, Kai has some of the coolest fight scenes. Kai was the first ninja I ever wanted, and I wanted him for the longest until I wanted the full collection of everybody. He was such a cool character they shouldn't have let go to waste like that. And I ain't even gonna lie, they did him so dirty in his redesign. What do y'all think? Hear me out, the Teen Titans were stacked in the DC AMU. After the first movie or even the second movie, people really thought the Teen Titans centered around that team. But for some reason, I don't see people mention how many people really joined. On top of the already Raven, Starfire, Blue Beetle, and yes, these characters are powerful, they shouldn't nuke the universe. We had Wonder Girl join at the end of Teen Titans Judas contract. Superboy joined sometime between there because we saw him in the Justice League Dark Apocalypse War movie. Kid Flash joined. Shoot, and apparently Bumblebee came back upon all of that. But it seemed like their team actually had a good power level. They had their own Superman, they had their own Flash, technically their own Batmans, with Nightwing being one of my favorite characters, and actually being confirmed by DC to be a stalemate to Batman. They should have got way more respect than having like 2 people alive, if anything, let alone the way they nuked them. I even love the flashback scene with the original team. I think this is a cooler team, and I would have loved for Speedy to come back as well. Anyway, the Teen Titans needed way more respect. I definitely want to see this lineup again in the future, and I want to know y'all thoughts on this team. Hear me out, and honestly, I'm very confused on why Ironheart is getting all the hate. Ironheart at one point was a really loved character. That is about 5 to 10 years ago. She actually debuted in some Marvel shows on Disney, and I know characters love the reception. I even posted a video on her like 3 years ago, and people love the reception. The suit, the idea of an AI Tony, the idea of a legacy character. Now all of a sudden people calling her an Iron Man wannabe. Oh, that she's weird, this and that. I haven't seen people complaining about the show. While I haven't seen it, and I don't agree with one thing she asked, which is if Tony Stark wasn't a billionaire, would he still be Iron Man? And for the last couple of years, it's seen people complaining about nanotech. And she actually does real suits, and y'all are still complaining about it. Like, it's crazy. Now I'm kind of scared if they do bring in Hulkling, he's probably gonna get hated on. And honestly, for that matter, anybody else. Me personally, I love Ironheart, but y'all let me know what you think down below. Hear me out, what is the most underrated superpower? Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the most underrated superpower gotta be energy powers, or energy transfusion, or the ability to absorb energy, or you know what I'm talking about, that singular power. I see a lot of people say flight, strength, speed, but when it comes down to it, I really don't see anybody talking about energy transfusion. Having the ability to absorb someone punching you, like kinetic energy, having the ability to absorb electricity or some sort of other forms of energy, light, sound, like having that ability is so OP. Think about it. You're powerless in the morning. You take a little electricity from your phone or the TV, and now you can go do some cool stuff like run faster, be stronger, maybe jump higher. You can use those abilities to apply to your life, charge up other people's phones. Like, I know I'm thinking of small things right now, but you can really think of the most. Like, imagine charging up a car and now it flies. Like, there's some really cool things you could do. But I don't know though. These are just my thoughts. What are some cool powers y'all think is kind of underrated? Hear me out. Crime is not worth it in the Invincible universe. When you really think about it, being in the Invincible universe is literally a universe with no plot armor. I hate that people think just because it's gory and bloody that they're stronger than every superhero in existence. Being a regular thug means you have to deal with Invincible potentially. You have to deal with Adam Eve, who can literally do stuff to your atoms. You can maybe go into Rex, who turns everything into an explosion like Jubilee. If not that, you can deal with an Omni-Man who is not going through it. Now you're gonna think this is some Superman hopeful type of character, and boom, he rips your heart out or literally makes your body explode off impact. Not even trying to bring us to the other levels, but Powerplex was a dangerous person. I can get struck by lightning not even doing anything. I can deal with a Conquest level threat. I can deal with an Omni-Man level threat. I can deal with a Kaiju. I can deal with a Nissa. Like, the list literally goes on. And that is for being a criminal or being a regular character in Invincible Universe. I'm not trying to be an example to someone who didn't want to fight harder. Let me be a Viltrumite or something. Anyway though, as far as it goes, I would not want to be in the Invincible Universe. I say heck no to that. What would y'all think? Hear me out. What is your favorite Kung Fu Panda villain? And dude, I know everybody's gonna say Tai Lung. It's always Tai Lung. It's always Shin. But Kai does not get his flowers, and he has been genuinely my favorite villain. Dude, Kai was something else. Kai was so tough that he was taking out every leader and making them be his minions. He took out the Furious Five and made them his minions. He was so dangerous that he beat Oogway. Oogway knew he was gonna lose. Kai was so dangerous that in the astral realm, just because of his little weapon, he could throw whole rock structures. The strength this man had to have was insane because he also was not standing on the ground. That was all arm strength. Dude, Kai was so dangerous that he saw no one as a threat. Even when Poe locked in and had that golden dragon and unlocked his full potential, Kai still thought he was gonna win. This man did not want to duck any fades. And J.K. Simmons did his thing voicing him. But I would love to see who y'all favorites were. Hear me out. A way for Ben 10K to be back to mainstream. So this is what I think. Make another show like a Batman Beyond type of show. Have Ben 10K be the center of it. It isn't all childish like how Ben 10 was when he's a child. Now that he's grown, he understands threats way more. Make Bilgax or any other villain that appears be an actual villain, like Animo, a type of Joker. I feel like having that in general would be super cool in a show. Now that it has darker themes, a different style of animation, the villains are actually taken seriously. Next thing I would say is for having a death. I don't want there to be death, but I do. I don't want any of my favorite characters to die, but if Gwen were to die by a villain and Ben wanted to get vengeance or something and that is a whole story arc, that would be actually insane. D introducing way stronger aliens than Alien X, and E giving service to your fans. What do y'all think? Hear me out, childhood cartoons I want to put y'all on to part 5. Danny Phantom was actually such a great cartoon. This was one of the only cartoons I think Nickelodeon actually smashed. Well, Danny Phantom went on for 3 seasons. He's a boy who ended up getting ghost powers after an accident of his dad's device. He flies, phantom blast, he can go intangible, possess people. Like, he literally has the whole power set. And at one point, he starts taking some crazy anomalies. It was the type of cartoon where you came home from school and that's the one thing you'd be watching. This cartoon was actually one of the best cartoons I've ever seen. I even ended up rewatching last year so I could talk about it a little bit. But I think Danny Phantom deserves this top as an underrated series, considering that no one really mentions it anymore. If anything, it's something that I would have my child watch in the future. I'd say I put Danny Phantom at the 9 to 10 area, but if you have seen Danny Phantom, what if you put it at? And if you haven't, I really hope you watch it. Hear me out, which one Ben 10 alien would you pick to have? Dude, I have to go with my legend, Accelerate. Accelerate was such a great character, and I loved him in Classic. I love the fact that he had a battle mask. It kind of reminded me of Optimus and Bumblebee's battle mask in Transformers, but it fit Accelerate so well. I love that not only did he run it, but he's also on wheels. Added the idea of him being an alien and him being kind of different. I love the idea of characters with speed. Dude, even Accelerate's a voice actor. The fact that he can create tornadoes, react instantly, be a threat to almost everybody. And he's the greatest alien Ben 10 has when it comes to speed. Because Fast Track was literally such a bad knockoff. What was this? I liked Fast Track for the idea of Alien Force, but as far as a speed character, get him out of here. Dude, Accelerate is untouched. I thought he even looks cool in Omniverse. And this was by far my favorite alien for years, and I mean years. But what alien would y'all choose? I would love to hear your choices. Hear me out, which is the strongest version of Superman in all comics? That one is actually a pretty hard question, so I'm gonna go with Cosmic Armor Superman. Gold Superman definitely does get an honorable mention, because Gold Superman was actually like that. He stayed in the sun for so long, created a new Krypton, brought Lois back to life, had all the powers he could think of, immeasurable speed, immeasurable strength. But the thing about Cosmic Armor Superman is it's actually a fusion of 2 Supermen. That is Superman and Ultraman. I would think that if they stayed in the sun for like 1,000 years, they would also become a Ghost Superman that would be insanely powerful, which is why I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But as far as Cosmic Armor Superman goes, he was so powerful that apparently back then when it came to comics, they had people fold the page to show that he was affecting the comic book. He is a plot device that cannot lose. He will keep going until he literally wins no matter what. Cosmic Armor Superman is so powerful that punches or him legit doing anything could be reality warping. And honestly, Cosmic Armor Superman just looks scary. Anyway, that is the Superman I'm going with, but I'd love to see what Supermans y'all have down below. So what do y'all think? Hear me out. Avengers Endgame, all of them versus the X-Men. Thank you so much for this video idea, Henry. I can tell a lot of y'all are gonna hate this answer, but the X-Men clear with ease. But you really gotta listen to me when I say this. Now, he specified Avengers Endgame, the movie, as well for this. When he said X-Men, that doesn't specify movies, that doesn't specify comics, so I'm going off of just general media. Knowing how many X-Men there really are, that includes magic. That includes the Phoenix that accidentally destroyed a planet with 5 billion people on it. That includes Magneto, who can destroy the Earth with electromagnetic fields. That includes Banshee. That includes Rogue. Like, there's so many X-Men I can name off of this list. That is the sole reason for them winning against the Avengers. Avengers Endgame, while there was a whole bunch of them that went against an army, it'd be kind of futile for Phoenix and just blow up the planet. Now, Scarlet Witch is a problem in her own show and in Multiverse of Madness. Before then, she didn't get that upgrade yet, so she still is just a regular Scarlet Witch. And while she is powerful, the Phoenix should be able to clear with ease. What do y'all think? Hear me out. Krypto versus Homelander. Now, y'all know I love me some Homelander slander. Oh my gosh, that rhyme. I'm giving strength to Krypto. Krypto could easily throw around Superman when this same Superman is taking out Kaiju. I'm gonna give speed to Krypto. This same Krypto can apparently fly just as fast as Superman. I'm gonna give Krypto another point just because he's adorable. I'm gonna give combat to Krypto, combat speed to Krypto, durability to Krypto. I think this is an easy clear for Krypto the Superdog. Krypto's laser vision is stronger. Shoot, I love Krypto in the Superman movie. I'm not gonna lie. Made me want to go kidnap my mom's dog. But yeah, I got Krypto clearing Homelander, but what do y'all think? Hear me out. Who is the biggest on site in media? Now, a lot of people are gonna say Doomsday and Superman. So instead of Doomsday and Superman, I'm gonna say Peter Griffin and that chicken. Their battles were legendary. Boy, there is no way a fist fight turns into a city level threat. There is no way you're causing this much destruction because you hate each other. They fought for so long to the point they forgot why they were even fighting. It was so on site that Family Guy kept it as a running bit. These were multiple episodes at multiple times. You know how much beef you gotta have with somebody that immediately you see them, you want to fight. If I was in this predicament, I would have forgave him a long time ago. I would have just said sorry and move on with my life. When it comes to on site, I feel like this should always be number one, if not number one, at least number 3. But what on sites are y'all thinking about? Hear me out. An army of Paradooms versus a few of Viltrumites. Thanks so much for Lee James for this video idea. I'm gonna change it up. An army of all the Viltrumites in history versus an army of Paradooms. The Viltrumites, while incredibly strong in their universe, is not really comparable to places like Dragon Ball Z, Marvel, DC. Now, knowing this, the Viltrumites are scared there because they can purge every planet, but they still get stopped up with people like Alan, Eve, and a version of Invisible ended up getting killed by explosions by Rex. So as far as I'm going, these Paradooms were taking out every superhero in the DC universe. That is Superman, who has some crazy feats. Superboy, with the same power set, getting his neck snapped. Taking out all the Teen Titans, including Blue Beetle, the Scarab. These same Paradooms cleared the Justice League, and they are made from one guy named Doomsday who cleared the Justice League by himself. Now imagine flying Doomsdays who can shoot lasers. The Paradooms are so dangerous they could for real speed blitz the whole Viltrumite empire. I have no hope in the Viltrumites. I don't see this happening even a little bit for them. What do y'all think though? Hear me out. The failed Mr. Terrific. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This Terrific was actually so bad towards the end, but in the beginning actually kind of a really good build up. And I'm talking about the Mr. Terrific of the 2012 Arrow series. Mr. Terrific in this had the whole suit. I love this jacket. Not gonna lie, now that we saw the James Gunn version, he does look kind of bootleg. But it seemed like they kind of rate him to nothing. Mr. Terrific is finally being shown of what he actually is. He is a man who's actually smarter than Batman. A man whose tech knows no bounds. There should be no reason why he's getting clamped up by the Green Arrow 24/7. Now this Mr. Terrific's T-Spears are nowhere near as advanced. He actually has to throw them if I remember correctly. He didn't seem that good when it came to problem solving half the time. He really left that to Felicity. He just seems like one of the Green Arrow's sidekicks. Thank you to James Gunn for giving us an accurate depiction of Mr. Terrific, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future. What do y'all think? Hear me out. Did y'all know at one point Batman was actually a White Lantern ring? So as y'all know, Batman has some crazy feats when it comes to comics. But at one point he was actually chasing down Vandal Savage with Nightwing. And while they were fighting through the whole army, Vandal Savage actually shows what he's bestowing. It's like this white spear egg type of looking thing. And Batman knows what it is straight from the get-go. So going on with that, Vandal Savage trying to succeed with his plans, Batman starts actually stating the oath of a Lantern ring. Obviously that prompts the egg to open up and for Batman to become the White Lantern ring. Now I actually kind of like this suit, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, what's so crazy about this is that he now beats Vandal Savage and all of his followers very easily. And while Batman and Nightwing are actually standing together, the Green Lantern Corps then pulls up on them. The whole corps. And White Lantern Batman was able to attack them all at the same time. And it literally wasn't even him. It was a lantern ring itself. Anyway, after it attacked all of them, it then gave a huge shockwave that knocked everyone back, destroyed the whole building, and then put Batman inside the ring. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of crazy. But what do y'all think? Hear me out. Which one Ben 10 alien would you pick to have? Boy, I'm gonna have to go with Feedback. Feedback was such a cool alien, and I can see why the series loved the glazing. Feedback was so cool because he could take any energy, and to the point where I think he took a planet level threat and sent it back out, absorbed it, and used it as an attack. This alien looked sleek and nice. He had the all black. and he looked sick. Dude, even Feedback's voice actor was dope. As far as it came to it, energy, as I said in one of my past shorts, is one of the most powerful abilities to have. People like Feedback can take any amount and use it wherever he needs to use it. He was fighting malware, even though it seemed like the alien got deleted. When he came back, he was better than ever. And in all of Ben's flashbacks, even he said he was his favorite alien. Feedback is definitely getting his spot up there. I would love to be Feedback, and I would think it's so cool if they even had an ultimate form for him. Hear me out. Did anyone even know that Vision Quest was wrapped up? Not gonna lie, I forgot this was even gonna come out. Apparently it's coming out like next year in July. They already wrapped up filming with no leaks, by the way. Apparently Ultron is coming back, or James Spader, the best voice actor that I heard in the MCU. Ultron was my favorite villain by far. And I know you got Thanos, I know you got Loki, but it was something about James Spader's voice and Ultron's facial expressions that kind of brought the character out for me. To be a robot, he seemed very human to me, very sentient. I've seen theories about his family being in there, because if y'all know, he does have a wife and 2 kids. But the thing is, we're getting White Vision. Does he slowly figure out himself? Does he look back on his past? How does SWORD lose their grasp on him? There's so many questions I want to answer with Vision Quest, but low-key expecting nothing, because Vision Quest, especially releasing next year, ahead of Spider-Man Brand New Day, ahead of Doomsday, ahead of Secret Wars, we need something to be in the middle. So what do y'all think? Hear me out, let's talk about Crypto the Superdog. Crypto the Superdog is actually a really interesting character, which is kind of wild when you think about it being literally a dog. Crypto actually had his own cartoon back in the day, where he saved his own people, had his own actions, and was actually kind of quite loved. So the thing about Crypto was he's actually sent as a test subject. That was a test to see if they could actually send Clark into space. But when it comes down to Crypto, he actually has some insane feats. He actually is really fast. He outspeeds Superboy so many times. He even beats Superboy and Wally West in a race. Think about strength-wise, he actually knocked down Brainiac, and even Superman and Superboy. As far as attack ability, he literally draws blood from Superboy Prime, which is a huge feat, by the way, and even was able to take attacks from Superboy Prime, which is a huge durability feat. Crypto, I was not familiar with your game, but even on top of that, he's incredibly intelligent for being a dog. What do y'all think about Crypto the Superdog? Hear me out, and every day I realize crime is not worth it in the Marvel Universe. Now, I have done a DC edition, but when it comes to Marvel, it's actually way worse. Why do nobody have a no-kill rule except Spider-Man? Why is that just a thing? The Hulk can kill somebody and they don't bat an eye. Thor can kill somebody. Iron Man can kill somebody. If I commit a crime, I don't want somebody throwing a metal frisbee at my head at 115 miles per hour. Some woman out here choking me out with her legs. That is not where I'm trying to be in life. And let alone trying to live in New York. Now let's just say they turned me into a villain. Let's say Thanos showed up. The Hulk threw my car. He missed. Now I commit a crime to make that money back. And now I'm getting thrown across the city because I want to have a car. And every other day of the week, I gotta deal with some sort of reality warper. Not to mention people be going evil every other week. Like, I don't want to be in the Marvel Universe, let alone in New York in the Marvel Universe. What do y'all think? Hear me out. In the spirit of Fantastic Four coming out tomorrow in the United States, let's talk about the time Dr. Doom's fiance cheated on him with the likes of Human Torch. So in this comic, Dr. Doom actually gets married. Because of Liberia rules, he has to forgive everyone in the past. He chooses to forgive his arch nemesis, however you say that, and invite them to his wedding. At first, Reed is hesitant, but he convinces everyone to go. And when they get there, everything actually goes all good. They're treated really well, they're treated with respect. And if I remember correctly, even invited a few other people, like Namor and Black Panther. Anyway though, keep in mind that them having this means they have peace with Dr. Doom, who is literally their biggest, strongest, and baddest villain. Well, when the vows are being said and the ring is about to be put on each of their fingers and they're about to be conjoined in marriage, she admits that she cheated on him with Johnny Storm. It's a trait for Johnny not to be a likable character. Cause how you mess up that bad? Anyway, after that, Namor just starts to crack it up. Instead of killing him, Dr. Doom actually just curses Johnny. He'll forever be on fire and he'll never be able to touch anyone ever again. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds pretty valid to me. What y'all think about this moment? Hear me out, Hulk with Bane Venom or Joker with Clayface's powers? Thank you so much, Dust, for the video idea. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was a clear answer until I realized Hulk with Bane Venom might be a little dangerous. But it really depends on the Venom. You see, a lot of times the Venom, it just turns him from his regular human self to kind of like a mutated thing. But Hulk's already mutated, extremely powerful, and the angrier he gets, the more powerful he gets either way. So is that factor gonna cancel out? Is it really gonna be that dangerous? I think not. Now, if it's absolute Bane's Venom that made him go from 9 feet to like 21, then that could be pretty dangerous. The thing is, Joker with Clayface's powers would actually be a city level threat, if not a world type of threat. You see, Joker with Clayface's powers can shapeshift to anybody he wants. He is literally a maniacal villain. That would be a really horrible power to have in his hands. Shapeshifting his body to anything he needs it to be. That could be a key, string, and once again, literally anything. Physical, at least. I think all that would do would make him find new ways to torture people. So out of these two choices, I'm gonna have Joker with Clayface's powers. That sounds like literal nightmare fuel, and that is something I would not like to see. What would y'all think? Hear me out. Should Matt Reeves, the Batman, be in the same universe as the DCU Superman? Now, this is gonna be another hot take, and a lot of you would disagree, but I think this is a clear no. Matt Reeves, the Batman, is way too grounded when it comes down to it. We don't get a lot of how silly Batman still is along with his edgy. We don't get the cool Batcave with the penny, with the dinosaur, with everything like that. Everything has to look 2020s. It it has to look cool. Knowing this universe, he probably just start going out with boxers on the outside of his pants. Not to mention when it comes to how they did his cowl, I never really liked that. I always wanted the regular Batman cowl with the white eyes. James Gunn is the only person I feel like who's really gonna give us. Everyone else tries to run away from it. I do have a fan cast myself, which is Jensen Ackles, and I really hope he can do it. But as far as my answer, I would say it's a clear no for me. It's definitely possible, but I would not want that. What about you? Hear me out, and Doom is gonna be controlling the Sentinels in Avengers Doomsday. I ain't gonna lie, this is gonna be such a cold team up, and this is gonna be such an amazing movie. Imagine them with Doom helmets. Imagine them adjusting to the superheroes. To Iron Man repulsors, which is not a superpower. To even the Hulk himself. When it comes down to it, these things were so dangerous. This was the only time I was visibly scared for my favorite characters, except Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. I literally knew that everyone I loved, it was up for them. Or an army of Sentinels versus Thor. Oh my gosh. I think this might be a $2 billion movie if I'm really looking at it. We can even get a scene of Cyclops cutting loose and taking off that visor. I can't wait for us to get Doom. I still think it shouldn't have been Robert Downey Jr., but who am I to judge a movie before it comes out? So far, what are y'all thinking about Avengers Doomsday? Hear me out, DC. Why do y'all hate Martian Manhunter? So recently I've been getting back to watching a lot of DC media. But DC, you have a huge problem. You love putting Batman and Superman at the center. Martian Manhunter is either Superman's equal or a little bit above him. His only weakness is that he thinks his weakness is fire. Furnace is one of the most powerful beings in DC. And the death of Superman. Now, how was he fighting Doomsday near a gas station? And how did Doomsday purposely throw him in there? He did not know that was his weakness. Dude, in no way, shape, or form does everyone know his weakness is fire. Batman literally threatened this man with a box of matches. Like, y'all are gonna have to start giving this man respect. When it comes to his strength, he's just as strong as Superman. Speed, almost just as fast as Superman. But the thing that clocks him out stronger than everybody else is his telepathy. His telepathy can bring you down. He can stop your mind. This dude can get in your head to learn your weaknesses, what you are scared of. This dude can shapeshift into whatever he wants. You see, he can do almost anything that he perceives. What do y'all think? Hear me out. DC has finally answered who is more powerful, Superman or the Flash. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this has already been known that Flash clears Superman. Flash is one of the most broken characters in history. He only loses to writers. You see Doomsday, the guy who usually takes out the Justice League? Yeah, no, he can be easily wiped in a second. You see, this man had an occurrence once called the 1 minute war, and it was literally that. He had a whole war in 1 minute. Aliens invaded, slowed down time, and all the Flashes dealt with it in literally a minute. So fast that Superman legit could not do anything. You see, this man can steal the energy from your body. You see, this man can phase through your body, phase certain body parts out of your body. Flash can easily beat Kryptonians. The Infinite Mass Punch has a mass punch of infinite potential. We have a feat in comic literally saying he can think at an attosecond. In no way, shape, or form should Batman Prep actually work against the Flash, but it does somehow. Anyway, what do y'all think? Is the Flash stronger than Superman? Hear me out. So recently I saw that Hawk Girl said she would love to be with Aaron Pierre's Green Lantern. And while I see that, that is not all the way correct. I even see a lot of people saying they would love for them to get together. But as you see, this is not the right Hawk Girl for that. This is Kendra. Cher is a little different because she does end up getting with John Stewart, as we see in Justice League Unlimited, which is an amazing cartoon, by the way. But then I have me realizing, would you rather have Kendra or Shayera behind your back? And by far, I would love to have Shayera. Shayera is actually so protective when it comes down to it. She stands on business 10 out of 10 times and is never ducked the fade. With Kendra though, it's like she always tries to run away from what she's really supposed to do. At least what I saw in DC Legends of Tomorrow. But she was pretty cool in the Superman movie. But I want y'all to let me know who would y'all pick, because I'm definitely going with Shayera. Hear me out. Do y'all think Avengers Doomsday will soft reboot the whole universe? Now, when it comes down to it, I was having this little question. I seen some people saying that's what they're going to do. I've seen others saying, oh, they're going to keep this going on till they're 90. Well, when I look at it, if they do it the smart way, here's what I think might happen. I seen people talking about Kevin Feige might retire from doing the whole business with MCU. What if Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, all that comes out? As soon as that's over, we have a huge multiversal class and we have all new, brand new heroes who are starting year one like everybody else, but they're actually like year 3, year 4, or wherever they are in their journeys. And instead of Kevin Feige, we have a new head of everything. This is just a theory though. I don't know if this is for sure. Now, I can't wait for Avengers Doomsday to come out. I feel like it's going to be an amazing movie. I can't wait to see what happens, and I can't wait to talk about it with all of you. What do y'all think? Hear me out. People really underrate Red Guardian when it comes to him being a superhero. Red Guardian was literally Russia's Captain America. Red Guardian has saved people, changed people for better, and was an inspiration to almost a country. I see how on Thunderbolts are saying villains to heroes, but what has Alexei really done? First of all, they kind of put John Walker on the burner side in the first place. In no world is Yelena Belova a better person than John Walker. I don't think you realize this dude was literally a hero doing what men do in the army. A man who was picked to be Captain America because his history talks for him. And they stay doing characters like this. Red Guardian and John Walker are probably probably the best two to pick morally wise as far as how they were before. This is usually what I notice with people talking about these characters. But as for y'all, what would y'all say about this take? Hear me out, everything we know about X-Men 97 season 2. Let me tell y'all something. X-Men 97 is actually one of the greatest cartoons I've ever seen in my life. That comes down to the animation, to the characters, to the voice acting at this point. But something very important to mention here is that we already know about Beau DeMaio, however you say his name, was already fired. I think it was for the OnlyFans or something like that. Anyway, when we look at that whole situation, he already has season 1 and season 2 written. Season 1 was super well, and it ended like that for a reason. Season 2 is going to be the great finisher to that. Well, because they fired him, they don't want his name attached to it anymore. So they're actually going in and rewriting that. You see, we actually would have got season 2 this year. Well, on top of that, the new writer that actually ended up hiring is the same guy that worked on Thor, Love and Thunder, What If season 2 and 3, and Miss Marvel, even though Miss Marvel wasn't that bad. What is going on? I literally have no hope, I'm not gonna lie. So far, what are y'all thoughts on X-Men 97 season 2? Hear me out, can Fox Wolverine clear out CW Arrow City? My answer to this is a straight yes. As much as y'all stands want to be like, oh, Arrow's villains are so tough, the only person who's going to be a problem for Wolverine is literally Damian Dark. Anybody else is getting clapped immediately. Deadshot season 1 is getting taken out immediately. Was Slade season 2? Because if he was, he's getting taken out immediately too. Prometheus being season 5 is gonna get taken out if that's who he was. Ra's al Ghul of season 4 is getting taken out if that is season 4. Sorry if it isn't. Like, as much as Ra's al Ghul could fight, he has never dealt with somebody with adamantium claws, strength, speed, and he's legit out here dealing with Deadpool easily. In a little cutscene, he was fighting the Hulk. I think it would take him maybe a week to get it all cleared out. I could even give it to 2. What do y'all think? Hear me out, Avengers vs. X-Men live action rematch. So since y'all want my take on this one specifically, you see a lot of people were saying it was a really good feat that Jean blew up a planet, or should I say the Phoenix, but that wasn't a comic feat. That was literally a beginning of the movie feat. You see, when it comes down to it, Charles Xavier is actually having people like this. When it comes to the Avengers, their heavy hitters are going to be Doctor Strange, Thor, Wanda, but as we've seen, Thor can be mind controlled easily like Scarlet Witch did him in Avengers Age of Ultron. Do I think he can stop most Avengers like this? Yes. And I feel like I'll also be getting 97% of them are at least wearing armor or some sort of metal. Magneto has done stuff like this since he was a kid. Quicksilver was literally moving like this and saving as many people as he could. If it comes down to a live action battle, I still think they have a really great chance. And the thing I want to clear up with Avengers Infinity War, no one really had the Infinity Gauntlet. You see, what was going on, everyone was fighting for it because no one wanted to put it on. They were trying to get rid of it. They snapped back everybody they wanted. They didn't want to risk killing themselves. I'm going to give Avengers 6 out of 10 times because I will say one thing the Avengers have is brains over everything. And then I'm going to get 4 out of 10 times to the live action X-Men. Now, what do y'all think about this take? Hear me out, Absolute Killer Croc is actually insane. Now, I'm not going to lie, this whole comic book is actually disgusting. Absolute Bane is a straight menace. This man has been keeping Batman locked up. Bruce just keeps getting out for no reason. First of all, 6'9", 421 pounds? 6 people needed to carry him? But when he first got out, Bane just repeatedly kept beating him. Second time he came out, he started running out because he was scared Bane was gonna catch him again, just for Bane to find him and beat him again. Third time, they shaved all his hair off, injected some green type of venom, had him looking so disgusting. To the point Bruce was actually scared to put the suit on again. But alas, he ended up putting it on. And this time he comes, sees a whole bunch of mutated human monster hybrids. Bane shows up, makes him fly into the glass. And Absolute Killer Croc jumps out and easily disperses Bane. Now Bane is so huge that he lands on a whole bunch of people and kills them all off impact. But then Absolute Killer Croc eats 2 of them. Absolute Killer Croc is bigger than Bane. Bane was 21 to 28 feet. Absolute Killer Croc has to be like 35 feet. And then him and Batman team up and Batman is riding Killer Croc like he's a dragon or something. I genuinely think you can get any crazier than this. So far, what do y'all think about Absolute Batman? Hear me out, when Spider-Verse got pushed back again? I literally just made a video on this back in March. This is insane. This movie already got pushed back. It's about to come out in 2024 and got pushed back 2027, 3 years later. And then it got pushed back again a few weeks. And the only reason they're doing this is just because they want all schools to be out. All schools is basically out June 2nd. I think this is the most insane thing ever. They're basically blue balling us at this point. This movie is gonna have great animation, a great storyline, and they will make their money regardless. Y'all have built something beautiful, and Sony, this is your issue. Either you do straight trash and come in too confident, or you create peak and don't have enough of it. But either way, I want my Spider-Verse movie. But also when it comes to doing it ethically, I could kind of understand why y'all did it, so I can't be too mad. If y'all didn't know about this, well, you do now. What do y'all think about the situation? Hear me out, to all you Invincible fans. The Immortal was a D1 character and y'all cannot change my mind. The Immortal got the most horrible life out of every single one of them in the last couple years. This dude went from being the strongest person on the planet, the literal planet's protector. He has been around for centuries. Omni-Man shows up, immediately stronger, immediately dogs him. Then he literally gets killed with Omni-Man along with his team, comes back, to fight him again. Actually did pretty good, I ain't gonna lie. He drew blood just to die again. Came back, worried about Mark because it's literally his kid, which is understandable. And then even lost at that. And then a future version of him, who was supposed to be way stronger than his current version, got killed by Invincible in the past. Not to mention, he thought his girlfriend died, even though Duplicate was just hiding her original self. Like, when you really look at it, this man has a horrible life. He's a very trained fighter, and he's very powerful. If Omni-Man, Invincible, all of them were on the planet, if it was literally just him, who was hanging with him? I fully believe he'd be a planet level threat. But I know a lot of you are gonna disagree with me on this, so what do y'all think about it? Hear me out. If Batman and Iron Man switch, who would have the harder time? I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the answer to this question is way more obvious than a lot of people think. While I have agreed that Batman on first encounter is a very dangerous person, it low-key does not compare to the people that Iron Man fights. See, the thing about Batman, his strongest thing he carries him is the shot goblins. These things were able to go toe-to-toe with Superman, actively hurt him, and he carries this regularly. The thing about Iron Man's villains though, you have to be moving at light speed. Several times you've been able to calc Iron Man's reaction speed at light speed in his suits, and if you don't move at these speeds, you are dead. This man fights Celestial. Some days he's either dealing with his own villain or some days he's dealing with Thanos alone. You see, this dude literally built a suit for the Hulk. A lot of people think it's just Batman who preps for the Justice League, but Iron Man has prepped for every single member of the Avengers actively and still is. You know, I really like this Captain America quote. It was like everyone adapts to the surrounding, but Tony adapts his surroundings to him. First encounter, he's gonna be super dangerous. If you let there be a second encounter, he'll have no issue killing you. So I'm gonna go by far for Batman, but what would y'all think? Hear me out. Lex Luthor versus Reverse Flash in terms of hate. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this movie has a lot of people twisted. When it comes down to it, Lex Luthor is not the greatest hater. Close, but nowhere near Reverse Flash in terms of being petty. This dude literally went back in time just to mess with Barry. He erased his friend from existence. That is a whole new level of petty. But it ain't even the hate he has for Barry. It's the hate he has for life. This dude literally liked a girl. She rejected him, so he turned her into a vegetable. There was legit no reason for that. This dude got mad at his brother, so he erased him from existence. And scenes like this, he literally had bombs planted everywhere. Barry put a bomb on him and he said, you know what? It's fine as long as you die with me. And I can even argue that Sabretooth is a bigger hater than Lex Luthor. If you know about his birthday shenanigans, you know. I, for one, cannot wait till Reverse Flash in DCU. And so far, I've liked everybody's fan casting of Anthony Starr. Hear me out. Do we really think it's going to be Kung Fu Panda 5? Do we even think Poe's going to be the main character? As far as the last movie goes, I don't know what that was. But one thing I know for certain is the way they did their characters was crazy. Pushing the Furious 5 out the way, like they were nothing, was a whole new low. 2 is the best movie, undisputed. 4 was definitely the lowest out of the bunch. If anything, I think it'll be more about that fox he was running around. Even if they did that though, I really don't think it would be entertaining in the way Kung Fu Panda really is. Kung Fu Panda was cool because it was him leaning into being the Dragon Warrior, who was able to fight like no other and able to have potential like no other. The story getting pressed on and him getting pushed aside ain't really nothing exciting anymore that we haven't seen. Me personally, I just wouldn't see it ever getting to the level of Kung Fu Panda. Nowhere near an audience rating or a critic rating. I could be wrong, but I'd love to see what y'all would think on this take.